So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 12 of our season 4 on F1 Manager 23. Now if you didn't watch the last episode, my word, go back and watch that one. Silverstone, it was a 1-2 at my home Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly finishing in P2, Lando Norris finishing in P1. We are looking very, very good in the championship, as you might have guessed. Having a look at the championship standings, constructors wise, we are 98 points in front of Red Bull. McLaren are the closest challengers, and it must be said, Haas are very much competing with Mercedes. What a fall from grace Mercedes have had on this series. Driver standings wise, Lando Norris is now top of the driver standings, 214 points. He's 2 points clear of his teammate Pierre Gasly in P2. Max Verstappen in third place in the driver standings. Who would have possibly thought it? Just to bring you up to date on a bit of the car parts development, we are now manufacturing the new underfloors and chassis, so we should have an upgrade package for the next Grand Prix. We are continuing to develop in the front wing and suspension as well, so there's a lot going on at the moment at Andretti Cadillac, it must be said. All that being said, let's look at where we're going this weekend. It is Budapest. It's an alternative qualifying weekend, 70 laps around here. The expected strategy is a two-stop, soft and medium onto hard. Maybe we can make soft, medium work, who knows. Car attributes, low speed and medium speed cornering. It might not suit our car, this one, but with our current form, who would put it past us getting another one too? All that being said, I'm going to get through practice and I'll see you in qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be your only flying lap in Q3. It's been a mix of rain, showers and dry tracks so far this weekend. But what can Lando Norris do here? He's on his flying lap, his one and only flying lap that he's going to get in Q3. Lando Norris up to the line on the soft compounder tyre. Obviously goes P1 at the moment, or 114.8. Pierre Gasly, he's not beating that at the moment as he comes around the final corner. Let's have a look what Pierre Gasly can do in response. He comes across the line, and how quick is he? He's 2.5 tenths behind as we fast forward on. Let's have a little look at what that means, because that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Lando Norris is in P1, Pierre Gasly in P3. If we just have a little look at the track map, it's going to rain now till the end. We'll come back for the full classification, but that should be it. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Lando Norris is on pole position, Pierre Gasly in P3 on the second row. George Russell splitting the two Andretti Cadillacs. Another solid qualifying performance. We've got rain on Sunday. Let's have a look at the strategy time, and it must be said it's going to rain around lap 15. The soft should comfortably get us to the rain period, so we're going to start on the soft compounder tyre, take some fuel out of the car of course, because we'll not use as much when it's raining, and then really play it by ear. I would suggest it's then going to be inters towards the end, but Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly, P1 and P3, both starting on softs. Let's get to 5 red lights.
There's a fantastic atmosphere at the Hungaroring as we prepare for 70 laps of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Now I wonder, will things be going Lando Norris's way in this race?
They start in P1, but will they be able to stay there? The first corner could be so crucial.
Right, let's get to it then. And here we go with the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away we are watching George Russell, who looks like he got a decent start because Lando Norris is alongside. George Russell weaving right and left, but Lando Norris into turn 1 does have the outside line, just about cuts off the Red Bull of George Russell. And will Pierre Gasly fancy an attack on the Red Bull early doors, swooping right and left? Will he go for a move round the outside? He certainly will. And Pierre Gasly round the outside of George Russell. That will now turn to the inside. We heard a little bit of cars banging there. Let's have a look to see if we do get a replay. But Pierre Gasly still fighting with George Russell as we are on lap 1. Let's have a little look at this crash involving these cars. It's Checo Perez in the McLaren, who it must be said top Q1 by the way, fighting with Mick Schumacher, just cuts across and then stops dead, and that has caused a lot of problems for the cars at the back of the grid. And if there weren't already enough problems for Hugo Boss, and it's not very good at all. McLaren of course stopping there, but Hugo Boss, Lewis Hamilton by the way, probably getting caught up in that. 19th in the Ferrari. If this is a sign of things to come for next season in real life for Lando Norris, for Lewis Hamilton, sorry, it's not looking so promising. What is looking promising, we sort of skipped out with this during the live action, but Pierre Gasly down the inside, into the right-hander, getting the job done on George Russell, and Lando Norris now running away in front. That is promising indeed. He's now nearly a second in front of his teammate. We are just going to carry on with Pierre Gasly just for this next lap. Pushing at the moment, but Lando Norris out in the lead on lap 1. Oh, these Hugo bosses, they're not having a good time of it. Kimi Raikkonen again, just going off there. Not ideal. It wasn't a massive mistake, but he's not having a good time with it. That Hugo boss looks like an F2 car compared to the rest of everything. It must be said, he's not far behind a Ferrari at the moment, just out of a second of Lewis Hamilton, who's stuck all the way down in P18. Lando Norris in this rocket ship of an Andretti Cadillac, pushing on at the moment, knowing that he can push on these tyres because he's going to be getting to the rain period. Pierre Gasly has managed to break the DRS of George Russell, so as we've seen very recently, Andretti Cadillac running away with it at the moment at the front. Once again, we haven't quite got the gap to double stack on the same lap, it must be said. Just to bring you up to date on the track details, it's going to be very much Inter's a toss-up between Inters and wets along the way. Inters and dries along the way. And we can see around here it's going to be the Inters period, but then again, as we drop in towards like 40 to 50, we may get onto the dries. We do have a yellow flag on circuit. Let's hope it's not one of our cars as we cut back to the live action. I'm waiting for a replay at the top here. Let's have a look. It's Lewis Hamilton. Oh my word. Lewis Hamilton, if he does this in a Ferrari in real life, there's going to be some serious talking points, because at the moment, Lewis Hamilton is so sorry, guys. He's got to be sorry, because I wouldn't be accepting it if it was my driver. But lap 5, Lando Norris, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 2.8 seconds clear of his teammate George Russell in P3, Verstappen P5 behind Tsunoda. There's a lot of lockups going on today. Alexander Albon in the Mercedes is the next one. Let's have a little look at this. Alexander Albon into turn 1. Fortunately, the Aston Martin got out of the way, but Alexander Albon taking the long way around turn 1, rejoining his front of his teammate. We are on lap 10 at this moment in time. Lando Norris now 3.5 seconds the gap to Pierre Gasly in P2, a further 6.4 seconds to George Russell in P3. Then comes Verstappen, Piastri and Tsunoda, P4, 5 and 6. Pourchaire in P7, Leclerc P8, and then Ocon and Albon in P9 and P10. Hülkenberg and Raikkonen, no surprise at the back. Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari, very surprised at the back. We have rain coming down, and Pierre Gasly is coming in to the pits on the intermediate compounder tyre. We've kept Lando Norris out. He's going to push for one more lap, then he'll be in. I would expect to see a few cars behind us coming in to the pits on this lap, but it felt like the right time to get at least one car in. Pourchaire has come in, Leclerc's come in. It made sense to me to get Pierre Gasly in. Oh, we're going to get a decent stop here. We certainly are. 3 seconds, we will take that all day long. We are just going to quickly pit Lando Norris as well. We'll confirm the pit box for Lando Norris. But where is Pierre Gasly going to filter out here? This will be absolutely crucial. Will he get out in some clean air? Or is he going to get some cars in front of him? Sorry, it doesn't look too bad at this moment in time for Pierre Gasly. He comes out and Lando Norris will be in this lap. Both Red Bulls stayed out. And into the pits comes Lando Norris, as does George Russell. We've got a yellow flag on circuit. This could be interesting. We can see Ocon, Gasly stuck behind him. Lando Norris into the pits. 3.4 seconds. It's not the fastest pit stop in the world, but again, not the slowest either. We'll have a little look at this spin from Yuki Tsunoda. We've been talking up Yuki Tsunoda and the Aston Martins this season, but just not managing to keep it on the track when it's so wet at this moment in time. You can see Pierre Gasly getting held up a little bit behind these cars that were on the dry compounder tyre. Disappointment in the Aston Martin garage. Not too ideal at all, but let's have a look. Lando Norris now is trundling down the pit lane. Pierre Gasly just coming down the start-finish straight. Lando Norris has come out in front of his teammate. The gap, to be fair, looks pretty similar to what it was a little while ago, but both cars now getting the tyres up to temperature, and that should be job done. As we just have a little look, Verstappen and Russell look like they've both managed to get out. Russell's still in front of Verstappen. Will Verstappen be saying, look, I need to be in front of my teammate because I am the closest one to challenging the Andretti boys for the driver's standings? Let me know down in the comments. Do you think we're going to win it this year? And which Red Bull do you think is going to be closest to us? It looks like Verstappen at the moment, but stranger things have happened. Lap 15, Norris from Gasly. This could be significant once again in both championship standings. George Russell in P3. It's been that long, there has literally been nothing to tell you about. We normally say Monaco's a procession, but the British drivers at the moment not quite getting it right. But George Russell, I mean, he swapped with his teammate now. Verstappen up into P3, lap 32. Norris still leading with Pierre Gasly in P2. Then comes Verstappen and Russell. Piastri in P5. Pourchaire in the Haas in P6 doing rather well again. Leclerc in P7. Then comes Ocon, Albon and Perez down in P10, but at the moment it is literally a procession around the Hungaroring. But when you're leading the procession, it doesn't really matter. Ladies and gentlemen, you join us back on lap 47 again. Not too much to tell you about. The track has dried out. We've just been watching to see if anybody's been pitting, and not a lot of cars have been. It must be said, Charles Leclerc is possibly our closest challenger here, but we were going to be reactive and just really allow everybody else to pit, then we were going to pit and just cover them off. But at the moment, nobody seems to be pitting, and if we pit, we're going to drop down to P4 and P5. So at this moment in time, Gasly's caught up with Norris, so our guys now are sort of clear to fight with each other, as long as they don't do anything stupid. But to be fair, we can now maybe make these tyres go to the end. We are expecting it to dampen up a little bit more in a while. But yeah, at the moment, we are not pitting just yet. Lap 47, still P1 and P2. Very interesting. 8 laps to go, ladies and gents, and to be fair, once again, not much to tell you about. The only thing to tell you about is Pierre Gasly is the one now that is leading the Grand Prix. We have been so comfortable in these last few laps. I mean, I don't even need to push on the fuel. We're just quite comfortably trottling around the Hungaroring. There has been no team orders with Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly did just literally drive up to the back of him and overtake him. Lando Norris didn't really put up too much of a fight. Lando Norris can't quite get the performance that Pierre Gasly can get out of this car at times so far this year. And Pierre Gasly now, I would suggest he's becoming the front runner in the championship. Of course, we'll see after this race. But let me know what you think. Do you think Gasly or Norris, who's our best chance at winning the driver's standings? Is it just going to be one of the two and you're not really fussed who wins it? But let me know. There's no favouritism here. Obviously, Pierre's been with us from the start of the series. Lando joined us midway through. But on lap 63, Gasly from Norris, Verstappen's in P3, Russell P4. It's Andretti from Red Bull. But there's quite a gap between the two teams. Last lap of the Grand Prix, Pierre Gasly leading the way from Lando Norris. Gasly already into turn 1. It's been such a cruise around the Hungaroring today. I don't even know what to say. We're going to have to focus on some sort of battle in the final laps, and I think we're going to focus on Leclerc versus Piastri, because Leclerc's got 64% tyres. Piastri has only got 34%, was that? 31%. So Charles Leclerc overtaking the Audi Sport car, which has been lapped today, of Mick Schumacher. Gasly and Norris is nothing between the two. They have comfortably dominated today. But Charles Leclerc and Piastri on this final lap. Can Charles Leclerc manage to get the overtake done? We'll just switch back to Pierre Gasly, who's coming round into Sector 3. But Charles Leclerc is looking all over the back of this McLaren. I have had hardly any overtaking to show you. I am going to name this the shortest F1 Manager video ever. Because that's what it has been on this season, this series. This has got to be the shortest. Surely it has, as I'm recording this. But Charles Leclerc is all over the back of Oscar Piastri. Pierre Gasly, where is he? He's still coming around Sector 3. Can Charles Leclerc get a move done? This is the crucial thing here, because Leclerc really needs this. Ferrari are not doing so well at the moment, and they really need to attack McLaren. It's quite important in both the drivers and the constructors. Pierre Gasly comes around the final corner and wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's a big yes from Pierre Gasly. It's going to be a big yes from Lando Norris. P1 and P2 for Andretti Cadillac once again. But Charles Leclerc is still all over the back of Oscar Piastri. And it's got to be said, Pierre Gasly sounded like he really enjoyed that. Lando Norris did as well. And this Andretti Cadillac is a rocket ship at the moment. It's looking very Red Bull-like, very Mercedes-like when they were in the pomp. Charles Leclerc only good enough for P6 behind Piastri. Let's get to the full classification, but let's get to that rainy podium at the Hungaroring.
What a masterclass drive from Pierre Gasly today.
It was a truly excellent win, with everything working together for the team and driver.
Pure elation there as the driver regroups with a team that worked so hard to see this moment. It's another career podium for Pierre Gasly, having battled really hard to earn that place.
There's further delight for the team as they get to see both drivers up there together.
Both drivers up there together, and this is becoming a running theme in recent weeks. I know it's not always the most entertaining thing just watching our two cars drive away at the front, but my word, you've seen our two cars driving around at the back for a while at the start of this series as well. So we have to enjoy these moments. Max Verstappen is wishing he got a black and yellow jersey on, sponsored by DHL, and look at what it means to the team. You can see the confidence, the momentum, everything he's building, and Pierre Gasly winning a Grand Prix again. Lando Norris fastest lap, 19 points for him. Verstappen in P3, Russell after that spin in P4, then comes Piastri, Leclerc. Ocon in P7 doing quite well again. Teo Pourchaire dropping 2 positions to P8, Albon in P9 and Checo Perez in P10. Lewis Hamilton, to be fair, gave him a little bit of stick at the start of the episode, and rightly so, because he wasn't doing very well. Did manage to get it back to P11, so fair play to him. Everybody finished. The Hugo Boss, one of the Hugo Bosses, actually finished 2 laps behind. Dear, oh dear. Driver standings wise, Pierre Gasly is now back at the top of the driver standings. 237 points, 5 wins, 2 pole positions and 9 podiums for Pierre so far this season. 4 wins for Lando Norris, 4 pole positions and 4 fastest laps. Max Verstappen in P3 and George Russell in P4. And you can see how important that battle was between Piastri and Leclerc, because Piastri is certainly still fighting hard to overtake the Ferrari driver. Constructor standings wise, we extend our lead at the top once again. I'm having to get this worked out. I think that's 116 points. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Red Bull in P2, McLaren in P3, then come Ferrari in P4, and of course Haas and Mercedes still very close. Mercedes, the 6th best team on the grid. Sign of things to come in real life? Let me know what you think down in the comments, but I hope you've enjoyed that. Please do like and subscribe, and I shall see you on the next one. Ta-ra!